Hello, man. Hello, Mgtows. Sorry I'm late. I was making a vid and I got entrenched in it, and it's kind of an easy thing to do. But
Hello, man.
with your thoughts, you're alone with your thoughts and how you feel about things and how you feel about that particular vid, whether you're gonna release it or not, or do all those things, and got to check and see if you got it right. But because there is so much criticism, but that's not important. That's not why we're here. Guess why we're here? We're here to talk about Mgtow. Hello, men. Hello, Mgtows. It's the throwdown. Just waiting for some people to come in. Hello, Badass Dan, Renee, Johnny, Dr. McCoy. Is that Dr. McCoy? I can't tell. Ben Volacoster, James Denton, Men's Knowledge 101. Hello. How's your day? I hope everything's going well. This whole week I was thinking about homelessness. This whole week I was thinking about my plight to get back to being a real man or a real boy at that time. I was thinking about some of the thoughts I have. Often we ponder the thoughts we have at that point. I relive these moments in my mind, and where I was, how I was thinking, what formed and molded the Mgtow within me, because I think it could help other men. Uh, Mostly it comes through pain, but you know, all that, and yet, the world doesn't take a notice. We think that we think it matters somehow. We think that somebody can see it somehow, and that something's going to come to help, but there's no help. You know, there's no programs for men. There's no backdrop. There's no you know there's nothing. You're just there, left alone with your thoughts. At that moment, that red pill moment that you take on a lot of the MRA, you take on a lot of the Mgtow. You usually take on the catchphrases. The catchphrases are the ones that catch you. The catchwords, the Gynocentrism, hypergamy. The explanation of those, and you sort of mold these ideas, and we forget sometimes that these words and these catchphrases that we use are total ideas. They're the encapsulation of an idea, and it's a personal idea most of the time. Um, that personal idea is different for each and every one of us, depending on how, where, when, who, all them things that influenced your life and made you into a guy that was reaching out into some space, some foreign space, searching for someone like you, someone that understood the way you felt, men like yourself. I remember them days well. Uh, I remember being in that room, reading those books. Some of the books I read was Mgtow We's The Power of Now, and Walden. I loved Walden. I read Walden over, and I read what was that one called? It was one of the only books I owned when living in the van after I got kicked out of my own house by the police for making a woman angry. The crime of making a woman angry. So, it was Milton. Milton's. I like Dayor's. I like Dayor's pictures that he drew for Milton, and that pain. I was trying to look into that savage pain. When Milton was writing his famous book. Oh God, what was the name of it? When he goes into the levels of hell, trying to find some kind of knowledge in there. It wasn't really a great book, but it kept my mind entertained and occupied. Mostly, it was, Walden and. Walden, trying to understand Walden, and Thoreau, trying to understand Thoreau and what Thoreau was going through, and why he had escaped to the pond. He talks a lot about this time when the ice and the people would come around, and the fishermen, and they'd break the ice, and he talks a lot about a lot of things, nature and science and humans and all those things. But what he doesn't tell us is what got him there? I often pondered what made this man just escape into the woods and go and want to be alone. There was no females. There was never no thought of a female, I don't think. If you can remember where there was maybe a thought of a female that Thoreau, uh, put out there. But I do actually know the actual story of why he went to the woods. And it was because Thoreau came from an affluent family. And his quest in life was to buy a farm and start a farm at that time, which indicated wealth from a farmer that was selling the farm. And he was dealing with a male at that point. And everything was signed, everything was deeded, and he went and had a party. And he said, "Oh, look, I'm going to go be a landowner just like my father." And at that time, landowning meant more. Even in America, the English, if you were a landowner, it was like owning land in England. You were a lord. You were the lord of your own property. But unfortunately, in Thoreau's case, he came back to finish the deal, and the wife of the farmer that had the farm said, "No, no, we're just not going to sell it to you." There was a lot of underlying bigotry in there, and they sold the farm to someone else that was upper state New York, I think, somewhere in there. There was just a whole new burgeoning communities that were popping up, and still a lot of weirdness within people. There's harshness and weirdness and underlying bigotries, and I think it was a religious thing at that point. But the wife had made the decision on that, and Thoreau thought, wow, he had a red pill moment. He had a Mgtow moment, and he went off to the woods to ponder his life and the life of so many other people after that would read the book. Them are the things that interest me. I know, the whys and the whens to do it. You do the Carl Jung when you read a book, and then you start thinking, well, what put this man here? What led up to these events that made him into this thing he was? And we do what Carl Jung, would the collective unconscious, what was in the collective unconscious of Thoreau and so many men. But this week I've been pondering homelessness, and I've been trying to get out and do what I do, but it's cold now, and we're underfunded and underloved and underappreciated, and we're men, and there's only so much to go around. Gynocentrism takes most of the monies that are allowed for these things, if not all. And then sometimes you just get depressed, and you're like, "Oh shit, I'm done. I'm through." And I've done a couple. I'm through videos in my life. I just can't go one more step. I just can't lose one more time. Maintenancing men, if you know the maintenance programs, maintenancing men is a money grubbing project. That's it. It's just you sink money into it, and that's all there is to it. I'm going to try to turn off my phone because I did make a video, and I'm getting those little dings, ding, ding, ding. Joe, mute it or do something with it, and it'll buzz now. It'll sit there and vibrate on my desk. I did clean my desk. I wish I had my camera on so I could show you my desk. It was stacked with like cigarette papers and bills and all this garbage that you collect up, and I know you guys know what it's like. You look back and you go, "Holy shoot, how did this happen?" And then it takes you about an hour. You got to go get the pine saw and whatever desk you got, how big it is, and you start putting things in their appropriate places, and then you go to pay bills. I cleaned my desk, and then I went to pay my bills, and I was like, "Oh shit, where did I put all that paperwork that I was going to pay the bills today?" And then finally you struggle through that, trying to find all your passwords and get online and do that. And then it's like, oh, that was quite a project. It was like a 2-3 hour project when I could have been doing something much better. But I did clean my desk, and I'm kind of proud of that. It's As a man, there's usually just beer cans and Pepsi bottles and stuff sitting around here, and the garbage is full. But that's not what I wanted to talk about. My personal experience and growth with actually cleaning is not what you want to hear about. I think what you want to hear about is homelessness. Homelessness is what I wanted to talk about today, and how it just pains me. And I don't know if you guys have that same pain, but when I look at it, it's to the deep core of my soul pain. And often I just I was going by the what I call the shelter, but it's not a shelter. It's an old garage that they closed up where the men have dragged a few mattresses into, and they come out and there was geese going by, and my buddy says. He says, "Look at all those geese. They're gonna go and shit all around where the bums stay." And I says, "No, those bums will probably try to snag one of those geese and try to eat it for Thanksgiving." And he looked at me and he thought, "Oh, that's horrible." And I thought, "No, that's what you do in life. You eat." And there was this awkward moment of silence there, and when someone hits you with the red pill, and we went on the rest of the day, and I can't get off my mind how cold and how lonely and how hungry some of these men are, and it hurts me to my core. And hello, Messenger, how you doing? You got your sound in?
I think so. Can you hear me, Joe?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
I've got an echo.
Okay. Yeah. You know what? Hey, I did do something this week. So, I took a few bucks out of my YouTube account and I bought a new pair of headphones. So they're on Kmart for sale. It's Black Friday sale.
Oh yeah, did you have to rugby tackle someone to get the last pair?
Yeah, yeah. It was like two pairs left, and I was like on it. I was like, man, they're only thank you, China. They're only $6.
Yeah.
So that was my shopping experience. I was gonna buy the little plug-in speakers for the phone,
Oh yeah,
and well, it was a Wi-Fi speaker, and that was like $9, and I was like, China, I love you.
yeah, they're good ones. Shining will tell you how good they are or not.
Yeah, yeah. So that was we were shopping for, I can't remember what we actually went for. I just kind of veered off, and we had to go to like it was a work thing. We were looking for something, that we needed, and I veered off, and I was like, "Oh, look at this! All these electronics and 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 Tupperware bowls that abound, like mountains of Tupperware bowls for $5."
So did you buy some? Was it like an impulse buy?
Yeah, yeah, it was like an impulse buy. And this, I remember that this was the time of the year where I always buy my Tupperware bowls.
Yeah.
But that's not important. That's my personal shopping experience for the week. What's important is what we were talking about, the homelessness, and I don't think people see it. People don't see it, and it bothers me. And
Well, I don't think it's rude to say. I think it's a fair point to make. I mean, what happened to the homeless outreach project? I mean, what happened about that? Because this is going to be the second winter that's gone by now, and I can't see that um, any of that money actually went to getting a man off the streets. So if Mayor's listening, can you let us know, Mayor? You know what happened? Because that's quite a substantial sum of money there, and it doesn't seem to have gone anywhere.
yeah, yeah. You know what I got?
And it's you're the same, Joe. You know, it's like, come on, that things like that. Not only is it good for men, and does it sort of give Mgtow, if you care about Mgtow as a collective, give it a sort of better name. But it's good for men's morale to see men actually helping other men. But it's not good for men's morale to see men pretending to help other men and then sort of going quiet and there's no results.
Yeah,
That that really, I mean, let's put this MGTOW thing aside and all this virtual shit aside,
yeah.
and
Well,
let's be real. You know, we're a group of men who banded together, and we had good intentions, and it would be good to see something come of, you know, that effort and those donations that people put in. And if nothing comes of it, then it doesn't look very good for men. It doesn't look very good for us, and we lose confidence in people, and we lose faith in people and their good nature. And I don't know. What do you think, Joe? What do you think about that?
Well, I got some personal deep feelings because you know what I do, and you know what I try to do, and with modest, well, you know, modest finances here. I know what it costs for transitional housing for men. I know that there's huge costs involved with it, and I can personally tell you, I put it out there what I spent last year, what I donated early this year, which put me back, and I could tell you it cost $3,000 a man, and right around that area, the rest, all that comes out of my pocket. Uh, I've been trying just to work in the shelters lately and get out there and try to help. Do what I can with what I can, and a lot of times it's just a an Uber cab drive away, or dropping something off, and a 20 here, a 20 there, but that all builds up. And when I do see Mgtow failing so dramatically at that, a couple bucks here, a couple bucks there, I was thinking, and this kind of ties in. I was all this hoopla with the honey badgers and everything, and I look at their channels and bearings and all those guys, and they've got hundreds of thousands of fans. And the question I posed to myself was, would Karen, or would Allison, or would Bearings, or would even TFM, or some of the big producers just say, we pick a homeless project and say, could each one of those fans donate $1? And
Well, we know TFM would.
yeah, we know TFM would,
So
but
you
my
say that.
thought was secondary after that, and my thought was what I've seen so much in my life, because I've had houses closed down for lack of funding and everything. Would that actually ever, if we did that, like the further one that we were talking about, I digress back to that one, would the funding actually make it, or would they just go butt nuts and spend it on themselves?
Well, it would have to go directly to the treasurer, the person in charge of the funds for the charity, and
Yeah,
not go through a third party. But you know, uh, Karen Strawn is just an egotistical. I don't know. She's got like some sort of savior complex, and she's elevated herself. She's almost like a Florence Nightingale. You know, I
yeah,
can't even begin to describe what a strange person she is, and I don't know why that Stardust character gives her so much fucking praise. I mean, you see her begging for 15 grand just so she can
yeah.
get fucking. Oh, I'm just a poor waitress, and I never thought I'd
So
be
she,
held in such high regard. And all I need is 15 grand for some flights so I can be interviewed about this poxy fucking red pill film. Let's be honest, no one gives a fuck about that film. It's
yeah,
just a piece of shit mockumentary made by some fucking nobody that's going to be shown in the back of a fucking cafe somewhere. I looked at the London screening, and it's in a fucking obscure place. And you can imagine there's going to be plastic chairs and about 5 or 6 people, probably a couple of old ladies that wanted to get in out of the cold and they've only come for the free tea. It's going to be shit, isn't it? It amounts to nothing.
it amounts
So
to
it
nothing.
certainly
Yeah,
doesn't justify Karen Strawn's e-begging scourge of the MRM and Mgtow e-begging for personal gain so she can get a fucking flight to a premiere screening of a pile of shit film. And not only was she e-begging for herself, she was e-begging for that other fucking nobody and her fucking boyfriend, because apparently he has to put up with her kids. 15
yeah.
fucking grand. 15 fucking
15
grand.
grand.
Just so she
Yeah,
can
that,
go and live her grandiose fantasy of being some sort of fucking minor celebrity in the MRM. Fuck
yeah,
Karen Strawn. Fuck her. That 15 grand should go on men. If she cares that much, she would say, give me the 15 grand. Then she should switch it and say, I've got the 15 grand, and I'm fucked. If I'm getting on a plane to talk to you about your shit film, that money's going on men, because she genuinely cares about men, but she doesn't. She's full of shit.
Yeah.
And that's what, I needed to say that because when I saw that it come into my stream, Karen Strawn, and it was almost like a fucking Oscar-winning performance. I'm just a lowly waitress, and
Uh,
I can't believe that people actually want to hear what I've got to say. And if you could just find it in your hearts to give me 15 grand, Karen Strawn, go fuck yourself. Men need that money more than you fucking do. Just so you can gallivant around New York and fucking buy burgers for everyone.
yeah.
Fuck that shit.
Yeah, there was a lot of thought behind that thing, and it was just, I always look back at Earl Silverman, and then I always like kind of try to catch myself and say, I hope I don't end up like Earl Silverman, uh, relying on these
Mm.
people, and he relied on those people. He was a part of that community at that time. That's the point where I fully embedded in Mgtow, and I said, no, this MRA thing doesn't work, and I'm fully vested in Mgtow now because I seen that and it broke my heart. The only male shelter, and the MRA in its total entirety could not come up with $30,000 for him to keep that house open. And the government took it. The fucking government took it, and he hung himself. And I was like, oh, oh.
And half the budget is going on fucking plane tickets for some fucking
Yeah.
pointless woman to talk about a
So
pointless.
she'd go on vacation, on
Yeah,
a
exactly.
paid vacation. We know it's all just a paid vacation so they can dance in front of the stars and have their 15 minutes of fame for something. Hey, altruism hurts sometimes. Charity hurts sometimes, and we all three know that. We all three volunteer. We all three do what we can when we can. If it's not if I'm out of money, I got these two strong arms, which I don't waste these two strong arms strength on women anymore. I try to give it, many days I would be chucking boxes in that shelter, trying to get the food things full.
Men have shown that they're willing to contribute if they're asked, but if there's too many of these sort of scams going on, these fake
Yeah.
things going on, men are just going to lose all faith, and they're going to say, you know what, I'll keep my money for myself, or I donate it to a local charity so I
Right.
can see
Yeah.
where it's going. Or
Yeah. Now that's what I would advise. Survey your neighborhood and look out there and then find that one house that men are in because they're everywhere. And those are the houses that you just go in and say, hey, can I just drop a check? Or they'll have a little thing on the door, and you don't even have to talk. You just kind of go in and say, hey, that's what I can do, and need any help? That's so easy.
Shining.
Hey, Shining, how you doing?
Greetings, brothers. How are we? Greetings, gentlemen, friends, comrades.
Yeah. I'm going to mute myself for a second and let my dog inside. He's having a hissy fit out there.
So when you go through the streets there, Shining, and you take those little videos, the buskers and that you share, you see, you obviously see the homeless.
You only see them in the morning. You see the homeless between 7 and 9 in the morning. As soon as the shop starts open, they all get moved on.
Yeah, where do they get moved on to then? They have to go to the parks, or they have to go and I don't know.
So sometimes they'll hang around community centres that offer them free coffee, but they just keep moving. And I'm sure you've seen documentaries about homeless. They just keep on getting moved on. As long as they keep moving, they're all right.
They have like a sort of a daily routine of sorts, don't they? They know the places to go where they can get maybe a sandwich or maybe talk to other homeless people and that sort of stuff.
That's
I
right.
remember working in London a long time ago, but we were there sort of 5:30, 6 in the morning driving through, and you could see the parks just as the sun was coming up. And I was young. I mean, I think I was 15 or 16. And I said to my friend who was driving, I said, look at all the rubbish in the parks. He said, no, it's not rubbish. That's people. And I thought they were bin bags strewn everywhere, but they were men sleeping under the trees.
Did you see the video I just linked in G Plus? The homeless guy was shot by 6 police officers.
Oh,
Yeah.
6 police officers shot him.
Yeah, and then 6 more turned up after they shot him.
Mm.
It's terrible.
That's sad.
Yeah, men mean shit anymore. That's what it is. It's just a man, just a boy, and they'll shoot him. And if it's a man in the way, then he's not even worth taking down to the station and booking.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some blindness out there. I don't know what it is. The system works against these men, and I feel it, and everything out there is to force men down into those positions, and it seems like to me there's never nothing to raise them up. There's, with all this help and that they say they're giving.
The thing is, if the church, individuals, if people with just a few dollars worth, a few pounds can just open up a little stall and give a free sandwich and a free cup of tea, a free cup of coffee, why can't the council do it? Why can't the government do it? I mean, do they not have more responsibility? Do they not have a higher duty than the private citizen to do that? I mean, I was just thinking about the community centres, because you asked, and if they don't open, because community centres, their funding is on and off. It's like one year they'll get some money, the next year they won't.
Right.
So really, if they don't open without the people's charity, it could be the difference between life and death for some of these guys. And because a lot of us has been there. For a lot of these guys, they don't care if they live or die. They're on that edge where they couldn't really care less anymore. I mean, they've been so kicked down into the gutter that if they're dead the next day, for them it's a relief.
Yeah, there is a
petition, wasn't there? There was a soup kitchen in London. I think it had been going for a while. I used to follow them on Twitter, and the local residents petitioned it to get this soup kitchen moved because they didn't want people, homeless people, hanging around outside their apartments or whatever. I don't know if they were causing trouble or whatnot, but they got it moved miles away. So that's, you're just an eyesore. You're just an inconvenience to people if you are. So I don't know. I think people would rather just turn a blind eye and pretend
it's a real problem. I think it starts with the people. I think we as a society, we as human beings, look, no offense, Rene Nesbitt says socialism has its limits. And this is what I mean. It's like, what does it have to do with socialism? What does it have to do with far left or far right? We're talking about being a human being. I mean, if you ask somebody if there was a little puppy drowning, would you not jump in and save it? If there was like a little animal that was drowning, like a tortoise dropped into some little pocket of water, wouldn't you just pick it out? I mean, why can't you do that with your own, human being? What about, other men? It's just, we've come to the point where, as long as I'm all right, I don't give a shit about anybody else. Or even the crazy class system narrative, he's just a bum, or he's just a black guy. I mean, there's always some reason why we want to rise above everybody else, even if it means kicking them to the curb. I mean, really, what's happened to us? And it's not until you've been in that position, it's not until you've been homeless and you just see, whereas before you were treated as a human being, now you're treated as less than an animal. It was nothing to do with politics or far left or socialism. It's about being a human being.
Yeah. I kind of watch it all day and what happens, and there's some weird social programs going on, and it's a new system of queuing that they have. And the desperation has gone so far, like Messenger was saying, they just moved it out of the site. The people don't want to see it in their site. So Christian Charities is in my view most of the day, so I kind of watch down from my place, and what happens there, and you got to start to internalize it. You got to start to realize what happens. Christian Charities opens for breakfast and some lunch, and they do what they can, but it's not about the food. It's somewhat about getting the food, but it's about moving them into a warm space. and then they close down at 6, and then they try to move them into another space. And then often I see during the day the homeless will sit, you know, in the curbs and around the area. They don't want to be in that space for a long period of time. And it's a system of queuing. And but what we don't have at the end of that queuing line is a bed. And it tells about the funding. This charity organization only has fundings through 6 o'clock in the morning to 6 o'clock at night. And then they shuffle them out. They try to get them showered and do that, and then they shuffle them somewhere else, and then this one's doing this and this one's doing that with limited organizations, and but there's no bedding left in our community. One of the first things I noticed was we had houses opened. This was almost 10 years ago. The first one I noticed, and it goes back to what you were saying. There was a funder. It was through the Salvation Army Project, and we got the house, and then the funder was coming up, and then as soon as the funder came up for a visit, it was a she, and she seen that it was a male's house. She pulled all the funding, and the house closed.
Yeah.
And I was like, it was heartbreaking. And then the organization that was taking all the kudos, and back of that was Salvation Army, just abandoned it. And it was like, wow, if you don't get kudos, then if you don't get that pat on the back, then it's not worth it for you.
I think it is. I think there's a fundamental question here, and I think it touches to the root or to the foundation of who and what we are, and that's this question of why should we care? You know, a lot of men now, a lot of people are saying, they're saying, you know, why should we care? And I think it does affect you. I think when you're able to walk by somebody who you could help and you don't help, I think it does have a really bad effect on you. That's not spelled out, and it's not talked about in our society at all. And well, if we start right from the basic, if we start right from the foundation, if we saw. If we all imagine we had children, some of us do, so for us it'll be a lot easier. If we imagine we had if our 2-year-old child was walking off the edge of a cliff, and we just watched him or her do it because we just didn't care. Now, there's nobody here that would say, "Oh, you know what? You're an idiot because you just didn't give a shit." But the only difference between your child and somebody else is because it's a matter of chance. By chance, that child or that person was born to you. So by chance now you're going to care for that person. But by chance, that homeless person, that sleeping rough, he wasn't born to you. She wasn't born to you. So you don't care about that person. You know, you guys, you have to start asking that question.
Let's look at the nature of charity, because you find people that do stuff for charities normally have got a family member. Say it's a cancer charity, they'll start fundraising for that hospice or that whatever that helped their relative, because it's touched their life. So when we talk about homelessness, it's a predominantly male issue. So unless a woman really has got a male relative who's been on the streets, but then again, if he's been on the streets, he shouldn't have got in that position anyway if his relatives cared about him. But I'm just trying to find a way that it may have touched a woman's life. I mean, it's not really a female concern, is it? There's no motivation for women to support men's charities, because women aren't made homeless. They've just got to open their legs, and some stupid man will, you know, take them in and put a roof over her head and feed her. So it's mainly a male issue. And then you've got the problem of female in-group bias being stronger. Females are more likely to stick together, whereas men, you know, for whatever reason, they compete, or they, you know, if they're not like us, they fight over women or dominance, money, the same thing, whatever they need to get the women. So men don't really stick together. Men don't really care about men. And if a man sees a man under a bridge, he'll say, "Oh, fucking pull yourself together. You know, what's wrong with you?" And, you know, I see it at work all the time. We had the conversation about suicide again, and someone said, "Oh, he's just looking for attention." The place where I'm working, someone had said, "Oh, a man threatened to kill himself." And I said, "Well, you know, has he planned to do it before? Has he Is he serious? Has he got the means to do it? Has he been to see a doctor? What's happened lately? Is he drinking too much? And started asking all the questions just to see. And the bloke said, "Oh, it just sounds like he's got to man up." So they don't really care if men kill themselves, let alone if they're on the streets. So men don't really have a vested interest in other men because they just see them as weak or, I don't know, inadequate.
Right.
Whereas
Or his family sees him as weak or in need of a lesson.
Yeah,
No,
but men
I think
don't realize how close they are themselves to it. We've all been there. It doesn't take much. It just takes a series of unfortunate life events to put you on the street.
I think with a lot of guys on YouTube, they don't see the benefit or the purpose of doing or saying anything unless there's a logical or wider benefit. And I would point out that every society that looks after its unfortunate or its weaker class or its helpless class, they are the ones that thrive. If you look at all the countries like India, like all the third world countries that did nothing for their weaker class, they are the ones that eventually almost disappeared. And like I said, I would point out to Rome as well. I think that was one of Rome's problems. They just had too much of an underclass. They didn't look after their underclass, and the entire ship sank. And I would say this is where the West is heading. This is where America and the UK is heading. They're saying, well, we're not obliged, we're not obligated to help those that can't work, to help the disabled, to help the mentally sick or the physically sick. So the entire ship sinks. Now, I can't spell out exactly what the relationship between those that are underclass or those that are more helpless or in need to those that to the elitists, to the ones that have everything. But you should know, as logical, rational men, we should know that the whole society is like almost one living, breathing being. We all live in we're all like in this country, we're all part of this social cycle. So we're all part of the same system, and as that, we can't let one part suffer, or we can't let one disappear, because just like with the planet Earth, just like there was this thing about the ozone layer a while ago, and then there was this thing about the water cycle, and this thing about global warming and stuff like that. Whether that's true or not, the fact is, if that disappears, then the entire ecosystem disappears. If a part of your society disappears, then you don't know the consequences of that. You don't know what's going to happen.
Misconception. I think people think homelessness is a consequence of mental illness, and in many cases it is. But a lot of mental illness is temporary. So you can't say, that person is unrepairable, unfixable. And much of the mental illness is a consequence of homelessness or the circumstances leading up to homelessness.
Yeah,
that in that respect, these people are not useless throwaways. These people, before they broke, before they became mentally ill, or before they ended up on the streets, were in the military. They served a purpose. They had a family. They were able to pay bills and support people. They're capable people, but at the moment they're in a position where they can't get out of it. And if they could get out of it to a point where they could get their pride back and sort of become self-sufficient again, they wouldn't ask for any more help than that. I mean, we as men don't want people, over helping us.
Mm-hmm.
We want to say, okay, fine, I'm fine now. I'm fine. I'm okay. And it's, you want your pride back. You want your self-respect back and your dignity back. And once you've got that, you can send a man on his way and say, that's all he needed. Don't smother him. Let him go and do what he's always done, what he's capable of doing. And I wonder what percentage of the homeless are those men who just need to be picked up,
right,
dusted down, and given the means to go and support themselves again. It's
not only that as well. There's also the darker side of it. If a man has no means of buying food, he has to steal it. He has to turn into crime. Right. So if your social policy is that you do not help the homeless, you do not help the disenfranchised, you're just going to breed a social class of criminals. That's it.
Right. And it's going to come back to haunt you.
Our prisons are full. So where else you're gonna put them? And even if you do put them in prison, they're only going to come out more hardened criminals. It's well-known fact now that prison is a university for crime. They come out, they know how to rob better, they know how to escape capture, they know how to get more booty for their crime. And unfortunately, I think that's where we're heading. I think the crime's going to
actively not helping the homeless, or taking away the homeless people's means of helping themselves. I mean, they pour bleach on any food that's thrown away. These supermarkets, you know, they throw stuff in the bins, and rather than let someone, you know, suffer the disgrace of having to go through a bin and get themselves some food, they won't even allow them that. They pour bleach all over it, so no fucker can have it.
Yeah.
You know, so what? They've got no choice. Then you may as well say, okay, you've bleached all the food in the bins, I may as well walk through your fucking front door and steal something off your shelf.
And just walk out. And that's that's what they do. That's what they do.
They do that a lot, yeah. I had this concept in my mind that it's become homelessness is, there's kind of two stories here that I'm going to, homelessness is kind of a governmental social punishment now, and they're using it as a social punishment. If you end up there, there's this idea that you had done something wrong, but you can raise yourself up out of that if you just get along with the government program. So they're using social, and this is the 18 and out thing that I see in women. There was this we took in this guy, his name was, I'll just say Joey, and Joey had a mother that used to come and visit him a lot, and we thought that was kind of queer. And Joey had a little bit of problems, but he didn't have a lot of problems. And we did the drug intervention problems and everything, and he wasn't a candidate. And we did the mental health problem, and he wasn't a candidate. And what we found out, that his mother was doing the 18 and out thing. She threw him out at 18, and she would come and visit him there. And then one day, me and Dee, the administrator, let's go get some barbecue. And she had this look on her face, and I was like, oh boy, you know, I'm in trouble and shit. And she stops the car somewhere in Avon Lake or something. And then she looks over at me and she gives me the chicken head look, and she goes, that's where Joey's mother lives. And I looked up, and it was this beautiful pine-sided house with about, you know, an acre and a half, maybe up to 6 acres. And I said, and I just closed my eyes for a second, because it was one of those moments where I realized, oh shit, she did the 18 and out on us. And she was using us for free care. Why, she's living, and she just doesn't want to deal anymore with the mail. She's like, okay, you're 18, here's your bags, you know, boom, out the door. But she still cared in a sense, where she come visit them so she could relieve herself of that responsibility. And then I thought, oh geez, that's so prevalent in our society. She was using homelessness as a punishment to get him to do what she wanted him to do, and that was everything socially geared to see what she wanted to see on him. So she was using the homeless as it. And that's what we get now. The whole society thinks that's some kind of punishment.
Yeah, it's an alternative to prison.
Yeah, it's a prison alternative, and they're using it as a prison alternative. Get on, go to work, be a good slaver. That's where you're going to end up. That's what they're saying. Oh, no, men cannot let that happen, because that is tantamount to slavery, and that is tantamount to just an awful program, like you said, with the ruination of our society, like the Romans did. That's a whole lot of shame all in one package, you know. Yeah. I'm sorry. I silenced. I dead mute. I went into dead air there.
No, it's just a somber thought, because
some moderating there. Did you see James in the chat?
Yeah, don't give it to James. He was very harsh.
Yeah, we'll end up with no one. I can't do that, James. Where did McCoy? McCoy usually had the moderation. How about Revel and Islam?
Doesn't James even get a trial run? Surely that's fair.
No.
Yeah.
I like you guys know. I like James, but you need to give the proper position to the proper man.
Yeah, James will kick everybody out. Reverend Neil is the Masari, James.
All right. Well, let's talk about Hooker's new video. I know you guys are dying to talk about Hawker's latest
Oh
video.
yeah, I listened to that this morning. I was like, oh wow, you love me, don't you? Let's
He wants to meet up with you and discuss some things. No, the thing is, I think guys that they take Hulk far too seriously. He's not out to kill anyone. He's not out to like destroy anyone. He's just making videos and criticizing. That's how he talks. And
that's how he is. Yeah.
Yeah,
He wants me to meet him at the Steak and Shake, but I just met another Mgtow, and that's so funny that I just met another Mgtow at the Steak and Shake. That same Steak and Shake that he mentioned. Is the Steak and Shake now the meeting place?
What I found funny was he was quoting that Kicks Passion guy when he was saying that Vention is miserable. He's a miserable old man, and his garden's miserable. All his grass is dead, and he's a couple of years away from killing himself. And I thought, wow, these guys are totally wrong. And what this is, Warhorse, any day now he's going to ride his Harley over a cliff.
Oh no!
How many Steve Hokers are there? I just want to know, because I think there's more than one.
Of course, there's loads.
Steve Hoker that is learning to play his guitar, and he's over women, and he wants to, get used to living on his own and just be happy. And then there's the Steve Hoker that's backdating, and then there's the Steve Hoker that's just deleted all his videos, and then there's the Steve Hoker that comes back and criticizes other people for deleting their videos. And talks about how he's just been on the dating sites again, and
you've just got to enjoy the entertainment value. But
yeah, we love Steve. Steve knows we love him, and I tried never to attack Steve because I love Steve. He's from my area. He knows what it's like around here, and
Steak and Shake.
The Steak and Shake. Yeah.
You should just be. What did you say? I think you said you were 14 miles away. I travel that every day.
Yeah. Yeah, I just you have to develop a trust thing with with people. I can't go visit it's Steve, and he'll be taping me and going, look, like, here's Traversable Mgtow, and
I think the reason why he's angry with you is the same reason why he's angry with Element X. Is because you teamed up with his arch nemesis, Angry Mgtow.
And I wanted to talk to Steve about that, because at first, you know how when Angry Mgtow started making all the videos in a row, like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 a day, I didn't understand it, and then I was I was mad. It's like, oh, Angry's going crazy. But then I started to understand what he was doing, and it's the same thing we always do in Mgtow. We display it because the only way to desensitize the masses to the problem is to display the Mgtow in a rageful, angry way. Then the next time they see it, they're not so, oh yeah, that's just Mgtow.
Yeah, but I find it funny how he sees things like almost opposite to some things. He sees them almost opposite to actually what they are, and I think that's aspects of autism, or that's aspects of Asperger's. They sometimes see things very, very, very differently, and I just found it funny how when these guys watch Vention and these guys watch Warhorse, they see two very, very depressed men. They see two suicidal men.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
One man with a safe full of gold and silver and thousands of dollars invested in Bitcoin. He's got his own house, and he's just bought a motorhome so him and his dad can go on nice breaks.
Yeah,
so he's got no cares in the world. And then you've got Warhorse, who just gets on his Harley, and he's off anywhere he wants to go. He's
off the cliff.
He's growing his bonsai and listening to his music, and eating whatever he pleases. A nice peaceful life there. So I think if you introduced a woman into either Warhorse or Vention's lives, then they'd probably ride off a cliff or top themselves.
He called their homes a hovel.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's horrible the way they live, huh? Oh God, look at that, so peaceful and tranquil. That's so horrible.
No, I think what Paul Holker, guy, you know I'm not against Holker. I know sometimes when we bring him up it sounds negative, but I think one of the things he doesn't understand is men can be put off women. I mean,
yes.
For a lot of people, they don't understand, how can you subdue such a strong urge or a strong desire? And the thing is, it's almost like I mean, if you can be put off eating, I mean, there's sometimes when your appetite is totally destroyed, and I know when I was very young, I had some really bad chocolate, and I think 9 years after that, I never ate chocolate again. That's it's a little bit like that. It's like once you've lived like years and years, and you've suffered under a woman, and then especially if you've done it again, you you just don't have that taste for it as much, certainly as much. And for some guys, just get totally put off. It's just not the same.
What Steve doesn't understand is, he keeps saying, most Mgtow are TFLers, and what he doesn't understand is there are those of us who could, if we chose to, get involved with women again, and we've had women in the past, and we just realize that life with a woman around is a fucking pain in the ass. It's really fucking miserable. It's stressful. You come home, you can't fucking do anything after work apart from just listen to that inane drivel and nagging. You can't have any fucking hobbies without running it by some narcissistic control freak. Your money is all fucking accounted for, and she wants to know it's like living under a fucking dictatorial fucking regime. And this is what Hoka isn't getting. We don't care about women. We don't want the fuckers in our lives. We've been there, we've seen it. And unfortunately for Steve, he's still got this unrealistic fantasy that if he finds the right woman on one of these dating sites, he's actually gonna live the dream that he's playing out in his own head. And it's not real. He needs to just kill that dream, because that's what he's failed to do. We've unfortunately lived the nightmare. It was never a dream. We lived the fucking nightmare, and we would never go back. Never.
He's a bit.
Still thinks it's something that may be potentially in his future. For us, it's in the rearview mirror. Long time ago. History. Don't want to go back.
He's a bit old for that, though, isn't he? He's a bit old to be starting now, isn't it, really?
Yeah, he might not even be able to get it up anymore, and then that would ruin a relationship. So he's got to think about things like that.
It highlights an interesting point, though. I mean, if you haven't been through the meat grinder, if you hadn't tasted that bitter, sour, disgusting fruit, can you rationally learn it? Can you, reason in your head why having a gynocentric, westernized, long-term relationship is detrimental to your sanity, to your health, to your life? Can you learn that? Which is the question. And I think that's why he's pointing to Angry Mgtow, because he's a young guy now. We know Link Blue. I mean, can he, is he the one blowjob away, for example?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think they both are. Honestly, I really do think they both are. Angry Mgtow projects so heavily about women all the time, and he says it's because it's clickbait and it brings men in, and you've got to discuss women and the things they do so you can understand why you need to go Mgtow and all of that sort of stuff. But honestly, I think Link is one blowjob away, definitely. I think most men are. I can't remember who it was. It was Mountain Mgtow. I like his channel because it's nice and calm and peaceful. And I tried to sort of say to him, most men won't go their own way until they stop trying to figure women out. The minute you can sort of say to yourself, this is a waste of my time and effort trying to figure these people out, then you'll be free. When you've actually gotten rid of that need to try and figure them out and try and rationalize a way, try and bargain a way to make this rigged game work. Once you've got rid of all that shit and it doesn't take up your time and effort, then you're truly free. Then you can say, now I can focus on me. There are no wants and needs in that department. And I know I would say about Spetsnaz, and not in a derogatory way, but he always classed it as a need for men. Men have these needs they need to fulfill. And he never weighed up he never did the cost benefit. And it's as a need, yes, you could say it's a need. And if you look at Maslow, yes, it's on his hierarchy of needs, however much you want to buy into that theory. Okay, and yes, it is a biological need, but in the context that men want it, most men in Mgtow, women they want to use for recreational sex, not reproductive sex. So in that respect, if you don't want to procreate or continue your bloodline or your legacy, then you really do not have any need for women, other than, you know, if you want to have sport, you know, you want to sport fuck. So, I mean, what do they bring? I mean, why even entertain a notion of them at all? They just become so irrelevant. So when Spetsnaz went on that, you know, men have a right to fulfill their needs, and started hinting at that we would be diminished in some way if we couldn't, or we weren't given the opportunity to do that, then, you know, he started going back to the plantation. He sort of went at 1 degree off course and ended up a fucking mile away in Nikochoski land. And we sort of said, well, no, come back. You're straying off the path there. You're trying to bargain. You're trying to reason a way to bring women into your life so you can fulfill this need. What you need to do is say, I don't need to have this need. It doesn't serve my purposes. It brings no value. Apart from sport fucking. I mean, Jesus Christ.
It's an interesting point, because let me put it to you guys like this. I tried to explain it when I was in Heartburn's Hangout, but you know, his audience is very different to ours. So I'll try to explain it here. Now, imagine, guys, if you had 2 cars. Yeah, 2 very, very nice cars. They were identical, except one you needed to fill up with fuel, and the other one didn't need fuel. Obviously, you take the one that doesn't need fuel. It lasts your entire life. You never need to fuel it up. But because you enjoy fueling your car so much, you will take the car that needs fueling. That's what I'm trying to explain. It's like, if you can remove this urge, this sexual desire, this thing that gets you in so much trouble. If you can remove it, or would you prefer to keep it because you have so much fun having it? See, that's my point.
Yeah.
Guys don't seem to understand that.
I don't think it's an urge, and I don't think it's a need. I think it's a dependency. And I'll compare it to alcohol. Right. There are men at work who cannot cope. They get stressed, and everything sort of gets on top of them, and then they start to feel like they need to have a beer. And there's nothing wrong with having a beer. I used to have a beer, but I don't anymore. And I've noticed they say to me, "Oh, you must need a beer," or "Do you want to go for a beer?" And I say to them, I actually feel sorry for them, and I say to them, I don't get that anymore. If I've had a really bad day, I just want to go and sit and read a book, right, or have a decent meal at home and sort of recover and rest. And I look at them and I think the consequences of having a beer, that's a waste of money. I'll feel like shit in the morning. I'll have probably a worse day tomorrow. I may have to leave my car somewhere and try and have to retrieve it in the morning, which is a major head fuck. And it's just going to make my life slightly harder. So I sort of have a bit of foresight and think, what are the consequences of me doing that? But for them, it's a short-term thing. You know, they say, well, fuck it, throw the hands in the air, fuck it, I'm going to get drunk. You know, I need some beer, I've had enough. And it's the same with women. They're like, well, I deserve to be happy. And I think if you can just, for long enough, rationalize it and say, well, what's going to happen to me if I don't have a beer? What's going to happen to me if I don't get laid? What's the worst that could possibly happen? And when you do spend a year or 2 years without a woman or without the thing you depend on, and you realize that your life is actually better. You know, it's not the fact that you don't perish without it, but your life is just better without it. Then you think, I didn't need it. I just didn't need it.
But some guys, they don't want to lose that desire. They don't want to lose that need for it. They don't want to lose. You know, they actually think having that need is like living. It's like being part of life. It's like being alive. It's like for them, it's like if you don't desire women, if you're not chasing women, or if you're not have a hankering for alcohol, you're not alive.
Very, very quickly then. It's almost like they're scared of the concept of learned helplessness, and they think that we're giving up. We're not giving up. We just realized that the rewards for certain behaviors have been taken away. So we don't partake in the activity anymore. You know, we stay in the box. If you want to look at learned behavior and Thorndike and all that sort of stuff,
Mm-hmm.
you know, we won't pull the lever. We don't want to come out anymore because there's nothing there. There's no incentive. If for any reason the incentive was given back to men to play the game and the risks were taken away, there were no punishments when we came out of the box, and we were given rewards and there was some incentive, men would. But it seems like these men will come out of the box, they will pull the lever and come out of that box, whether they get fucking hit with a stick, made homeless, their kids taken away from them,
Mm-hmm.
made suicidal, alcoholic, just so they can get laid. Risk reward analysis, they're saying, I still want to play the game even though I know the risks. And that for me means there's no frontal lobe thinking going on there. You know, the reward system, the limbic system is saying, here's some more dopamine, get laid, you have to get laid.
Yeah.
And it's overriding the rational thought, the rational mind of the man.
Yeah.
And there's this quiet little voice saying, what about homelessness? What about parental alienation? What if you get her pregnant? And the limbic system is saying, fuck that. You need to get laid, otherwise you're not a real man. And they're listening to that. And when men get like that, I think, Jesus Christ, you're a walking penis. You're a walking fucking hard-on. What happened to Tesla?
That's what we see, isn't it?
What happened to fucking Tesla? All this talk of fucking Mgtows being men who are going to go their own way and self-actualize, you know? And in the end, it's like, yeah, but I need to get laid. Okay.
Isn't it?
Well, that fell apart.
Isn't it funny how when these guys come around and they say they don't realize how ridiculous they look to us? They absolutely look stupid when they start saying these things. And I want to say something. Desire is not a primary emotion. Desire is not a mechanism.
It's controllable.
It's controllable, and it's like Messenger said. It's set off by certain drugs that you set off. You chose to set off, so it's easily removed. Desire is easily moved. It's more based on hedonism rather than anything else. And hedonism is part of the central brain, not the. These guys would actually think that desire is embedded in the lizard brain. It's not. It's something easily removed. And if Steve or Kix or any of the guys that see themselves as TFL, or some of these guys that believe that they're going to die if they don't have that certain desire, if they don't exhibit those desires, you're not. It's not a primary function.
Let's look at TFL. Let's flip it around and let's look at what these men are doing to themselves.
Yeah.
They're complaining that the dating game is rigged and all this and that, whatever. They are their own self-fulfilling prophecy. I mean, Steve has painted a picture of himself in his own mind as a TFLer, as having no, what do they call it? Sexual marketplace value or whatever they. Bullshit term. But he's going around projecting that to everyone, saying, "Oh, I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy." He's probably slumped over and his head's down, and he's thinking, "Oh, he's getting all angry. Look at that man over there. He's got a girlfriend, and I can't get a girlfriend." Well, you're doing it to your fucking self. If you really wanted a fucking girlfriend, you need to stand up straight, put your fucking shoulders back, and be confident, and go and speak to a fucking woman instead of labeling yourself as this man who's not worthy of having a piece of shit fucking woman that 50 men have been through. I mean, come on. I mean, it's almost like he's in his own. He's in a prison of his own making there, and it's nothing to do with who he is or what he looks like. If he wanted to, he could. But he's made his own bed and he's got a lie in it. So, that's TFL is weird. It's just fucking weird. It's almost like a victim narrative. Look at me, I can't get laid, so I'm going to feel sorry about myself.
I don't believe that he can't either. It's just that he's so into his head that. And I'll tell you what. At a restaurant the other day, I was sitting with a Mgtow friend, and the waitress come around and she laid her hand on my shoulder, and then I did the thing that I always do. I kind of repel from that. And my buddy goes, "She touched you." And I says, "I know." And then she come back again and she did it again. And then she did it again. It was like the third time she did it. And I was like, oh God, I'm getting all creeped out here. She's like hitting on me. And I'll tell you what, Steve's probably a better looking guy than me. as for, you know, looks and health go. And I cannot find it. I find it hard to believe that, short of his personality and short of some of the qualities he exhibits with the autism, that he just can't go out there and get what he wants. So it must be something else.
No, it's an interesting point you both bring up, because not only is it a mental prison that he set himself, but a lot of men are in this. A lot of men are in this state where they've limited themselves. It's like that donkey that was tied to that plastic chair.
Yeah.
Have you seen that meme? There's this donkey tied to the plastic chair, and he's afraid to go anywhere because he thinks he's tied to some heavy post. But I think nearly all men are like this. It's like we've limited ourselves into what we can do and what we're capable of. We're constantly trying to remind ourselves of, I'm just one person, or, that's impossible. I just can't do this. This is the mindset that we're in, and that's why I like watching these videos, because you see him doing it to himself. Like you say, it's a mental prison.
Now, my other thought is kind of goes back to what I put in the subtitles here. Gynocentrism and the irony. These guys are coming around and they're just kind of slinging poison daggers at us. Why are they slinging? Yeah, why are they doing that?
$50 and a hooker gets laid. That's it. It's no big thing, and we've raised it up so high. I think, like I said, it's mental conditioning, and they put themselves in this mental prison. And I think to varying degrees, nearly all men have done this.
Yeah. It's just getting rid of that. It's not that hard to get rid of that thing where you're constantly searching for a woman or that. You just, most of the time it's just concentrating on you. And that stuff dissipates, and then you find yourself in a place. And we've all experienced this after we looked up, and it's been 6 months since I went out with a girl, and you go, oh shoot, my life is still pretty good, and my life is getting better. And you go, and then you start doing that analysis on that stuff. Why is it better? Why do I feel better? Why am I seeing things clearly?
Yeah, I've got young men at work, and they sort of say, oh, you're bitter, you're broken, or whatever, damaged, or whatever they want to say, because they know a bit about my past and that sort of stuff. And they talk about women and that sort of thing, and I just say to them, honestly, I've just got better things to do with my life. And they look at me and they sort of laugh, and it's a nervous laugh, because they're sort of trying to figure it out more. And when they do figure it out, they just sort of smile and walk away.
What could those better things possibly be? No, your life is better at the other end of that. And when you see your life is better, why would I possibly want to go back to my life not being better?
I think you can simplify it by, first of all, I think the first step is men need to know why they need to control their urges or their wish to have a relationship with a woman, and then after that they can learn the consequences, right. And then after that they can learn how to do it. I think if men don't know why it's detrimental to or why that they need to do it in the first place, they're just not going to be motivated, or they're not going to have any successful steps in doing so, and they're just going to go right back around in circles.
Did you see that psychology paper I sent? And it was about extroversion, and more about extroversion, because introversion isn't really included in that big five that the paper was about. But extroversion it touched on introversion as well. But extroverts need validation, they need all of those things, intimacy with women. And I looked at it and I thought, well, let's divide this Mgtow thing up into extroverts and introverts if we could. Not everybody is either or. We've all got sort of varying degrees, varying percentages in our character traits, but let's say if you're predominantly one or the other, the extroverts would never be able to live this monk-like existence, because it's just not in their nature. They need to socialize. They need to be around women. If they're a man, they need that validation. They just need it. That's who they are. Otherwise, they'd have to discard their own personality traits, and that would just create such a dichotomy within their own mind. You know, they'd have to discard their own self to live a different life. Whereas if you're more introverted and you're quite happy to be in your own company, then you're more adapted to the monk sort of lifestyle and saying, I don't need women around. But I think for the extroverts, for the you know, more extreme extroverts, to spend time on their own, even to do the necessary introspection to get to that place, I don't think they're capable of doing it. I don't think they're mentally or emotionally capable of sustaining that for long enough. I think it would drive them insane, and I think they would crave company and they would crave women. I think you know, and this is not knocking Nico, because I like Nico as a person, but I think he failed at going his own way as a Mgtow, because he needs people around him. He's a people person. He's a personality, and I just think he's too much of an extrovert to go his own way. I think the extroverts end up going back to the plantation.
Yeah, is that a product of the slave mentality? They're a slave to they're a slave to those things that maybe desire. What he's desiring is not what he sees in women. It's what he craves, that attention, that because he is extroverted and he craves that so much that he becomes a slave to that.
On another topic, you guys just reminded me of something.
James Denton's wrench isn't working?
No.
Oh,
okay. It's something that it's something that the Mgtow should talk about a while ago, but they haven't brought it up, and I think for good reason. It's that issue of society, of culture, of our government trying to incentivize men back into marriage, incentivize men to basically have a relationship with women. Now, I thought this was, right from the beginning, I thought this was ridiculous. I just, because I think I know the government pretty well, and the government are very, very arrogant. They never apologize. They never backtrack. They always blame others. In fact, they're just like a woman. Just like a woman in that sense. They never apologize. They don't take accountability. They're very, very irresponsible. And they're not gonna say, "Oh, you know what, men, we were wrong. You take back authority over your household. You have sovereignty over your property and your family and your lives and that." And it just hasn't happened whatsoever. And the thing is, what made me think about this was TFM's last video where he talked about Alison Tiemann. I mean, what's going on with Alison Tiemann now? Has she left the Honey Badgers? She says she didn't like the label anymore. She says she's dropping the MRA. She's dropping Honey Badgers. Yeah. But anyway.
Oh my God, she did a hamster wheel the other day that blew my mind. I couldn't even keep the analogy straight in my mind. It was just so, that was hard to follow.
And the thing is, so what they're going to do then to try and avoid what's happening in Japan is they're going to incentivize women.
Yeah,
that's all they can do. All they do is they keep giving women more privileges, giving women the rights of basically men.
Yeah,
and that's all they do. And now TFM, when he was addressing Alison Tiemann's point that now Trump is in power, this alt-right ideology, this alt-right political wing is going to start incentivizing men. But he was saying, incentivizing women to to be mothers, to be wives, to be better wives, to be better mothers.
That's a ridiculous idea. It's like having a couple guys run up to your car and smash it with a hammer and say, if you do what we want, we're not going to smash your next car.
But the thing is, his point was brilliant. It's one of my favorite videos of his, and he says that women they get everything for free anyway. Everything you're going to incentivize, anything you're going to offer them to stay with a man, they can get that without staying with him.
Right.
So what you want his children, you want his house, you want his in Messenger's case, you want his dog. Everything's yours, and you don't have to stay with him. And I thought that that was a brilliant point. But the wider implication is that there's nowhere the government can go now. There's no leeway unless they do backtrack, unless they do apologise, which the government don't do. And I shout out to TFM for saying this, but they do need to go back to the old role model of men. Where men are the authority figure, of the house, of the nation. Let's have no more talk of a woman president, please. There's no more talk of that.
Yeah,
we need to go
first
back to
fix the car, put it in the shop, make it okay, and then give me some kind of real incentive. Not the fake one that they busted to begin with. It's man, that's craziness.
Johnny Midnight. I thought Johnny Midnight was Johnny Ping Pong.
Johnny Ping Pong? Who was Johnny Ping Pong?
I think Johnny Ping Pong, isn't that Joey? I think that's Joey.
Oh, you think that's Joey? Okay.
Yeah, I think that's Joey. I've gone.
Joey,
okay, yeah.
Okay.
Johnny Midnight says soccer mums in the UK. What would we call soccer mums, Messenger? I don't think there's an English term for that.
Oh God.
But anyway, he says soccer mums are the lowest of all humanity. I'd rather break bread with Pol Pot's corpse.
Yeah. There's an analogy behind that, because soccer moms in America, we don't play soccer here. So if you're a soccer mom, you're forcing your kid to play an unpopular sport, and then you're driving them back and forth in a minivan, and then the kid gets this image of like he's a lesser. Like it's, I don't know if you guys don't play like basketball much in the UK. It'd be like a mother, or she's just picking a sport that he's going to be may not be hurt in. Because she's overprotective to him. but in
England, in the UK, we don't have a term for that. James Denton says in Russia they're called babushka.
Babushka kids. Yeah, that's a good. It's just the kids that are being emasculated by their mothers. They're the refrigerator. I think you guys call them refrigerator children.
I don't know. I thought soccer mums had respect over in the US. Constantly trying to encourage their children to be sporty.
Oh no, that's the modern Gynocentrism strong mama. She's a soccer mom driving her kids like with drinking a cup of coffee while talking on the phone and doing business to the soccer game. It's like she's doing everything.
Did I get that wrong?
Yeah, that's the strong empowered woman thing that they put on TV. Like they're saying it's good to be a soccer mom. Keep control of those boys.
Yeah. I don't know. I think the closest thing we've got, Messenger, is wag. Wags, yeah.
What are wags?
They're normally women that marry very rich men, and then they sort of use their children as little trophies. So they'll like make them little miniature versions of their successful father.
Yeah, that's so they can get something out of it. The whole idea is like they're getting some kind of you know what Wininger says about women. They steal credit for things, and they want to get some credit out of their kid doing that. When the mother looks at her daughter, she getting married, she's proud that she doesn't see her daughter's getting married. She sees that, oh, I did something great there. It's women. I often say that the male in that kind of relationship, he comes in, he redoes the living room, he puts up new blinds, he paints the walls, he puts up trim and everything, and then the next day she has all her friends over and she says, look what I did. She didn't do nothing, but that's what men permit them to do. That's the soccer mom, the idea of the women taking credit for things like they don't do.
Just going back to the previous issue, because I think this issue is very interesting, because I think this is why the MRA failed, because they're trying to incentivize the government to change the law. They're trying to incentivize the women to be basically honorable and to stick to their duty as a.
That's gonna work, huh?
Yeah, and obviously by that, then men will then be incentivized to go back to traditional family, to be a husband, to be a traditional father. But that's just not going to happen, is it? I mean, it's a very, number one, it's a very disturbing thought, because basically that's the breakdown of societies. Number two, why you have to incentivize people to basically do something which is in their nature anyway, it just means a huge misunderstanding of human nature on behalf of the government and whoever makes up these family laws. But I think number three, it just tells you it's not going to get any better. It's just not going to get any better.
Oh God, yeah. I can see the lawyers sitting back and going, yes, this is good. Get those men married.
You know what they need to do? They need to just forget this whole idea of traditionalism and just be real about it. You know, women can't be loyal or faithful.
No,
They need to, as soon as a child is born, there needs to be a DNA test so we can establish clearly if the father is the father before he gets financially fucking ruined or, you know, burdened with it for the next. They need to be realistic now. Forget all these stupid ideas about mum, dad, and fucking 2.4 kids and a fucking dog and a house with. They sell children that bullshit idea. And I mean, let's look at it realistically. Kids at school, none of their friends, mum and dads, are still together, and it's all like, you're staying at dad's this weekend, or mum's new boyfriend, and you know, family courts. And they need to get real about it now and stop peddling this bullshit idea about happy families and everybody loves Raymond and the Simpsons and all that. It's all fucking shit, isn't it? Really. I mean, we've tried it and we've seen what it really is. And there are people out there. I mean, Universal Studios 13. He's going through some serious fucking shit now, and he's probably not disclosing a lot of it, but that's the reality of the way it is now. When women and men, you know, and children are involved, and this is what we're trying to say to the men like Steve Hoker and Nico and people like that. The reality is, you know, it's not the fantasy you live out in your mind. This married life, this family life, even if you manage to, it's like Life After Women said, you know, he lived the dream. You know, he had the cheese-covered wacky fry. He drank the Kool-Aid, you know. But it went wrong. And when it goes wrong, it goes monumentally wrong. And the consequences of that are homeless men and parental alienation and family courts. And that's what they need to be addressing. They need to say, look, monogamy is just not working. At best, people are serial monogamous, you know. There is no till death do you part. There is no, you know, happy families and brothers and sisters all getting on. People don't get on. People don't go to their own families' funerals, for fuck's sake. They all fall out and they all move to different countries and they only talk to each other twice a year. I mean, realistically, bullshit Disney fucking notion, isn't it? This happy families.
Well,
Oh God,
well, the thing is, I see the point in our very near future where the level or the word will be out to the point where people, even before they reach puberty, will know that you don't enter into a married contract. You don't enter into. You don't have a child with a woman. I think we're pretty close to that point already. I think the fact that, you know, even though I remember when I was young, there was nothing more I wanted than to be a father. But I think the children these days, I think they just realise that it's more than just about getting your rocks off and you know, playing with your children and just being happy families. I think these days, I think that the word is out that there's something very, very wrong with getting
from
engaged.
Shows like Jeremy Kyle and stuff like that. They know that
from their own
these
father.
women people around have got kids from different men, and years ago it was like really unbelievable, but now it's like, yes, another one.
Yeah,
You know, another
women.
kid.
I have an obscure beef with Mgtow. If you guys want to like talk about that and children.
Oh, shoot.
Okay, I hear this all the time in Mgtow that the reproduction rate is at 2 people, and TFM said this the other day that the reproduction rate for a man and a woman was to have 2 kids to replace them.
Mm.
And I want to make a point here, guys, and I did a video on this. It's a little obscure point that just bothers me. Life is linear, man. The world is linear. Time moves on in a linear fashion. And unless you do the linear math on this, you guys are idiots. Next time I hear that, I just have to say it, that most people are going to live 60 to 80 years in this lifetime, and they're going to get a witness. Now, Ronald Reagan made the same mistake back in when he was president, and he brought in I think it was 2.5 million immigrants that were between the age of 18 and 22, and they were all male. Now, my point linear is that if you're 2 people and you have 1 kid, the 1 kid is going to have like 2 kids, and then the 2 kids' kids are going to have 2 kids, and the 2 kids' kids are going to have 2 kids, and you're going to get to witness that in your lifetime if you live 80 years, and that's 2 times 2 times 2, that's 8. Now, this is the point that China made. This is they can't do math very good in China because they cut down the kids to that, and then they seen their population grow, and they were wondering what the fuck happened over this 50-year period. Well, what happened over this 50-year period is people continue, once you mate and you have kids, those kids have kids, and those kids have kids. So you put in a linear time thing in there. Now, that's what Ronald Reagan, the mistake Ronald Reagan made. He brought in 2.5, and within a few years, that 2.5 turned to like at that point they were having 4.2 children or something like that per, which is in a lot of countries. So the 2 people turned like 4 point. Now you start doing the math on that, it was 8. Now all of a sudden the 2.2, these 40, 50, 60 years later, is 36 million. Do you get what I'm saying here, man?
No, I think
that's a stupid concept to think that just having 1.2 kids is going to fix this thing. That's stupid. They're saying you have to have 2.2, and the government's fucking retarded because that 2.2 is going to turn into 80 million people here within 20 years.
If that's in the context of a married man and woman, though, I mean, it doesn't take into account the babies that are conceived around the backs of nightclubs.
Right. Now that's what kind of set me off, because now we got this baby mama thing happening, and they're going, oh, well, it's not important. The baby mamas are going to take care of this stuff. No, those kids are going to be raised by baby mamas and have 2.2 kids, and those kids are now you have 8. In the time of your lifetime, you will see that one single baby mama produce, and then that'll turn into 8 to 16 to 20 baby mamas that were raised by that baby mama. That matriarchal person.
But the thing is that makes the assumption that pregnancy is planned, and I mean, in my experience, most pregnancies aren't planned, and babies are born out of wedlock with people who didn't really stay together, and they get married as a consequence of having children. And if they have any more and stay together, then well, you know, that's it's just pure chance. But yeah, I mean, trying to control populations by limiting or sort of telling people how many kids they can have. I don't know. Well,
no, I don't believe we have an overpopulation problem whatsoever. I think there's a lot of people trying to move into London, New York, Paris, and Tokyo. I mean, if you go like 10, 20, 30 miles outside of these cities, you see plenty of space. In fact, right now in China, supposedly the most overpopulated country in the world, they've got a problem with overhousing. They've got too many houses. There's too many flats. They can't fill them. They've got what they call ghost cities in China. Cities where there's nobody there.
Yeah, they got all the houses. Yeah, there's a 5%. I think a 5% overage isn't very 5 to 7% overage, where they have houses just sitting there waiting on the next people to come in, but still men are homeless. You know,
the World Health Organization did a projection of it. I think by 2025 or something, 70 or 75% of the world's population are going to be living in the towns and cities. So it's urbanization. You know,
that's it. It's urbanized. That's what the problem with.
Yeah, yeah. So that was just my obscure observation for the week. If one more Mgtow producer says this replacement rate of 2.2, I'm just gonna fucking shoot myself.
There you go, guys. I think CS has got a way to get back at you.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, we want to talk about CS today?
Well, that's up to you.
Any
Yeah,
news on that?
what's that?
I think.
You spoke about it last week, did you?
Yeah, I thought. You know what came into my mind, that CS is a pretty decent Mgtow producer and everything, and he's got a large following, and he's left this week, and it's we could have talked our way through this thing and everything, and but what just kind of struck me as odd about this thing was where was my point going here? CS in himself here, what he's saying and just leaving like that, and just maybe the Mgtow wasn't that important to him. And my thought was that video I seen, was there anything wrong in that video?
Which video?
The video that somebody posted of CS. Was there something that, okay, if someone calls you, someone gonna insult me, and they say, Joe, you help homeless guys, and you work in a chocolate factory, ha 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 ha.
Oh,
and I'll say,
was there anything incriminating?
Was there anything incriminating? I would go, yeah, I do, and that makes me a pretty good guy. So that video was like, if you step back and look at it, you go, well, there was nothing incriminating in there, and he seems to be a pretty good guy, so why is he running from Mgtow over that?
I don't know. I'll let Messenger answer this one, the CS expert.
No, I mean, I figured CS out a long time ago when he first came to Mgtow. He acquiesces, and
Yeah.
I think the classic example of an authoritarian, he bows down, like he bowed down to Stardust.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Sacred Stardust.
Well, he acquiesced, and he rejected his own cultural identity and things like that. And I thought, there's some serious character flaws with this man. And then he started promoting the people who had already been proven to be questionable in their behavior, which again, it stood out for me. A lot of people say he's intelligent, and academically maybe, but when you get to levels of emotional intelligence, he's obviously devoid of any, because either he condones what these people do, and we're talking about pedophiles, he condones pedophilia, and he wants to actively promote and support these men within the community, which is not good for Mgtow. I don't know what his intentions were there. But there's definitely a serious emotional intelligence in that man. If he cannot see people for what they are, the way we did, and it had already been done, dragged all the shit back into the conversation, and brought all the people back after we cleaned house and said, there's nothing wrong with him, why are you attacking him? And now the fact that there are people being arrested and computers being seized on serious allegations of pedophilia, and the fact that people are looking at very long prison sentences and serious criminal convictions, now it's all coming out, and then all of a sudden CS deletes his channel. Yeah. Now, is that the consequence of someone posting a video that he...
Is that the tell? What I call the tell?
Well, I think, it could be a convenient thing that happened there for CS, because he thinks, fuck. And now I'm going to get drawn in and incriminated with these people. And I would hazard a guess that if someone's being investigated for pedophilia, and their PC has been seized and is now being inspected, every bit of communication they've had online will obviously be evident.
Controversial.
Yeah. So, did the rats jump off the boat this week? Tyler?
These people are saying shit, one of us has been caught. Therefore, all of us could be sort of incriminated here. So I need to delete. I need to start. You
Yeah,
know,
start fresh. And
Are we
yeah,
are we
I think it's
talking
covering.
a pedo ring here?
I think it is.
we
Yeah. Well,
thought so.
they do flock together, don't they? Well, it is the case that deviants and people with paedophilic tendencies are all grouped together so they can normalize the deviancy and not have it on their conscience. That's why you have paedophile rings. So, you know, and the fact that he defended these people, and the fact that he promoted these people, and the fact that he attacked us, he actually felt threatened when the subject was brought up, obviously meant that he became defensive. Now, why did he
Right.
become defensive when we brought the subject up, but we didn't mention his name? Whenever we brought the subject up, mentioning people like Tyler, Immortal for his sexual sadism, people like that, weirdo, what's his name, Alex Brown, who
Yeah.
recently got arrested for trying to meet an underage girl, was it?
Yeah. Yeah, it's trying. Yeah.
Okay, so that's gone on, but at no time was CS implicated in any of that.
No.
But
Yeah.
he felt the need to defend these people. He took it upon himself to join the conversation and actually stand between us and them. Now, was that him defending them, or was that
Or
him defending himself? And I would hazard a guess that CS is no different to these people, but that would just be my assumption.
yeah. I thought we could have talked through this, but there was a stopgap there. There was something that was holding it up. That and it's the same thing we get in Mgtow. You guys aren't allowed to say this. No, I'm allowed to say anything I want. And Tylerp, I'm calling him Tylerp now. He jumped a ship now, and it's rats jumping off a burning ship. And I personally, that video. I was thinking about that half the week, going, geez, I would have owned that shit. I'm sitting in Malaysia at a thing getting a vitamin C colonics and sipping drinks around Polynesian girls. Yeah, and drinking pina coladas. I'm owning that shit.
No, he's out of there checking out. Yeah. So is he checking out of that video, or is he, as Messenger says, checking out because he's linked to Alex Brown and there's incriminating evidence abound?
It can't be that video. It can't be. It can't be being doxxed, because if I was his boss, I would be like, dude, how was your vacation?
Yeah, but I think one casualty of this terrible blood drenched war is we've lost Nico.
Yeah, no, there will be casualties to these things, and
innocent casualties.
Yeah, we're our Mgtow ranks are declining instead of people coming into the full black pill and the red pill and growing our ranks, and it seems like it's almost pre-planned, doesn't it?
Oh, no way! If you check out the Mgtow on YouTube lately, there's lots and lots more channels. There's a well, yesterday I was watching a guy called Christian Mgtow. Check him out. There's another guy called Mgtow Slim. He's pretty good. Okay. Yeah, there's loads of guys. Yeah.
You got a list for us?
I've subscribed to Mountain Mgtow because
okay,
it's not too emotionally taxing on me. You know what it's like when you've been around for a while and you watch these videos and you've done your red pill bit and you got it all out of your system, and then you think, oh fuck, I need to chill out.
Some easy listening.
Just to find something now that's easy on the ears. So yeah, Mountain Mgtow, give that man a shout out.
Yeah, there's a lot of new. I haven't been subscribed. I erased all the my subs, and then I'm redoing my sub list now, and then I have to go back and re-erase because I really hate some of the people I sub to.
Well, on my own channel, I'm promoting PTG.
PTG. Cool.
He's very easy to listen to. Some easy listenings there. Not very controversial, not dramatic at all. He's just very plain, very plain. Yeah, also I've got Viff Ascending on my homepage, and obviously I've got Mgtow Teacher 3.
Well. Yeah, I keep MT3 on my page. We always give him shout outs, and
yeah. He's a bit shy though, isn't he?
Oh, RP Red Pill Gaming not Red Pill Gaming, Red Pill Germany, RPG, the new RPG, has been making quite a few new videos and everything, and quite well respected in the neighborhood, isn't he?
Well, me, I think I'm looking forward to Top Dollar. It's such a funny name. Such a funny name, though, isn't it? Top Dollar Gangster's next video.
Yeah. He made a doozy last week, didn't he? It was right on the mark.
Talking about Trump. Oh, talking about Trump. Trump. Did I mention this last week? His ethics program. It sounds very interesting. He's talking about banning Congress from lobbying.
Yeah.
After 5 years from leaving Congress, they're banned from lobbying obviously on behalf of other companies, and a lifetime ban on lobbying on behalf of foreign governments. So that should be interesting if he goes through that. I'm wondering whether they're going to assassinate him for trying to do that, because that's where a lot of the money is. A lot of these
heck yeah,
senators, they're making money because obviously they're like, well, the famous one is the tobacco and the alcohol companies, buying senators, to lobby on their behalf. Should be interesting.
Oh yeah, we have one of those fuck bags in Ohio that he took the tax money from the alcohol. There's a lot of tax money on alcohol within the state, and then he put it into a jobs program that was under a 401k or a 501c, and guess who owns the 501c?
Donald Trump.
No, the guy, the senator. So it's just all the money's going to him now, and he's using it for whatever the fuck he wants.
What a criminal! Yeah. Well,
don't think he's getting some money from the alcohol people. It's like, yeah.
Staying free. Mgtow did a podcast last night. He didn't get many people joining in, but I think he's a regular of ours. But yeah, staying free. Mgtow. Who's that other guy?
Staying free. Mgtow. I watched some of his videos. Mgtow is freedom. He's a new guy on the scene too. He sits around with a cigar and drinking scotch in his last video he did.
Not to be confused. Mgtow is freedom, not to be confused by staying free Mgtow.
Yeah. Now I look at the Mgtow is freedom guy, and I can't. He that is not a TFLer. He's like, I'm just a happy fucking Mgtow, And he's like, I learned my lesson just like a lot of us has learned our lesson, and now I'm just enjoying this. I'm just on for the ride now, and I don't care what anybody thinks.
No, I think we're going to be seeing a lot more of that. I think we're going to be seeing a lot more young bachelors. I think they're going to find alternatives. I don't know. Probably escorts and massage parlors will be a lot more popular. I don't think we'll go down the Japan route where they do everything except have sex.
No, they gotta take on the Joe mentality about that. Dudes, if you want to do that thing, get a fake ID and drive 100 miles away.
Yeah. But these days they've got I don't know, they must have it in the US, but in the UK they've got everybody's DNA on thingy, so they can track it down now.
Yeah, well, that's what they say. I mean, Jesus, the government can't even. They're paying $70 for a hammer. They're trying to tell me they can't. 80% of murders go unsolved, and they're trying to tell me they're going to track down DNA.
Your DNA was on the hammer. Yeah, I guess there is that there.
Yeah, these are some pretty inept, stupid people.
Yeah, but anyway, I'm with CFM when he says the only way you're going to fix this if we go back to the 18th century when women were seen as a property of men. So basically, you get married, she's not going to falsely accuse you because she's your property.
Yeah.
And the only way you're going to get in trouble by damaging your properties is if an official sees you doing it. And I think that's the only way anything is you're going to fix this.
Oh, if you slap her in public?
Well, if you kill her in public, I mean.
Yeah, that's a good question, guys. Okay, like you like we wake up tomorrow morning. Let's do let's do a scenario. We wake up tomorrow morning, and all of a sudden, okay, it's back to the 1950s. Women are lost the right to vote. Would you take one in your house still?
Of
No,
course not.
I'd
That's not
rather
enough,
have
is it?
I'd rather have a decent pickup truck or
Yeah.
a new motorbike or something. What do you want a woman for?
Yeah.
We
I
got
mean,
washing
there's too much
machines
water under the bridge here.
Yeah, we got washing machines and yeah, we don't need them.
No,
No.
the vote's not going to be enough. It's going to have to be all right removal of human rights.
Yeah. Yeah, my washing machine works fine. The microwave makes me them little dinners that I really enjoy at night. My cozy chair gives me more comfort than a woman ever did. Uh, I mean, I wouldn't even consider it now. I mean,
This is the downfall of women. I mean, if you look at the old make me a sandwich argument,
yeah,
they can't even make a fucking sandwich. The men at work are constantly complaining about their sandwiches, and I look at them and I say, when you make your own sandwiches, you know, they're good, aren't they? I mean, you put fucking salad cream on them or mayonnaise, whatever you like, and you put salt and pepper on it, and you make sure it tastes good, and you know, you don't use that hard bit of bread from the end of the loaf. You pick a couple from the middle, and you know, you take your time and you get it right. And they say, yeah, I make fucking great sandwiches. I said, what'd you fucking let her do it for? She don't care.
that's the great point.
Plumber at work, right, got his sandwiches out, and he had fucking cheese sandwiches, like this piece of plastic fucking
I know.
and it was that crummy fucking sliced white bread. And I looked at him and I said, what's that on your fucking sandwich there? And he said, what are you talking about? I said, there's a fucking blue thing on your sandwich. And on the corner, she'd actually given him moldy bread. There was fucking mold on it.
Nice.
And he had to throw them in the skip at work. I said, that's how much she cares about
That's
you.
how much she cares about you. Yeah.
And
That's an analogy for life, isn't it? I mean, we make a lot of sandwiches during the day. It's not just a sandwich. It's the towels you want to see in your bathroom, the sheets that the carpet you want on the floor, the car you drive, what you do with your money, where you go. Them are all little sandwiches. What shop you eat at, how much entertainment or what the movie on the fucking TV. It's all little sandwiches. And all those little sandwiches add up to a lot of an enjoyment.
Yeah.
No. I mean, for the general population, I think the only way that you're going to fix our decaying society is if you put women under the charge of men. But I think, obviously, if you're going to wake up tomorrow, nothing's going to change.
No.
It's going to be a long road back, if at all. And if I can paraphrase Steve Hoker talking about angry Mgtow, we're probably going to decay. Probably going to be we're a dying society anyway, clinging on to our opulence by invading other countries, by robbing their minerals and gold. That's all. Britain, we're like a child that inherited the riches of our grandfather. Our previous ancestors, the British Empire, they raided countries across the world. Let's face it, they colonized like 70% of the world's land, and they raided and took everything back. And half of it's in the British Museum, the other half is, we're languishing in it now. But if it wasn't for our grandfather's wealth, we'd be like Pakistan. We'd be like Bangladesh.
Bangladesh. Oh my. Yeah. No, we can't go back to that stuff. That's all under the bridge and everything. And men are starting to enjoy. Men are seeing the serious just niceness of just being a man and doing whatever you want. And you can't take a girl to France and expect her to want to go back to Cleveland. The men have seen France now. They've seen the other side.
Sure? Are you sure vengeance and wars are just not suicidal?
They might be suicidal. Yeah. Oh boy.
Yeah.
I think they may have been in the past, but that is a long time ago. Vention even says when he came out of the military, he went through a stage of that. But now, I think he's far from suicide. He's got more to live for than any married man I know. Vention can do anything he wants.
Yeah, yeah. Why would you
Any,
want to sabotage that? You know, if you take a woman, even if the government gives this you the opportunity, makes incentives and everything, you take a woman in your house. Guess what you got in your house? A fucking woman.
fuck bag.
Yeah,
She's
incentivize.
yeah, she's
Yeah,
just a
but
penis pocket.
it's interesting though. I mean, why hasn't the government tried to incentivize? Instead, I would say, and come on, guys, let's not go into the racist side of this. I would say that's why they've introduced the immigration, or they've encouraged, or they've increased the immigration, because rather than incentivizing the men that are here, they'll just get new men. You know, fuck it. We'll just throw you in Iraq. You guys can all die from the cold and homelessness and alcohol
Oh, that's
addiction and
real
stuff.
evil stuff too. And that goes back to my point with the life is linear point. And then these people that we need immigrants to come in, and then they don't realize that in 60 years here that's going to be like 8x what they had. And what they're really saying is men are waking up, and they don't want to do these harsh jobs, so we have to find some new slavery.
Yeah, that's it.
And that's some evil shit.
Well, that's why that's why they say that Japan is in the circumstances. Japan is in the situation that it is in because
I was going to say that. What was their solution? Because they tried to sell that to the Japanese men, didn't they? It's honourable to die and work yourself to death with a heart attack and support your family, and all those old sort of samurai traditions got twisted. You know, sacrifice yourself, but by doing a ridiculous amount of hours every week, and they didn't buy it. So
No.
what was the solution? What did they come up with?
Oh, they started a new program recently, haven't they?
There was no incentive. That's what I mean. The government just don't. They're so arrogant. They just do not backtrack. They don't admit that they were wrong. So they don't incentivize men at all. Instead they try and punish men even more, and they try and reward women even more. So they keep perpetuating the problem, which is
keep perpetuating
interesting.
the problem. That goes to our whole entire podcast in its entirety. They punish men with homelessness and strife, and then they reward them with nothing except for more homelessness and strife. And then they sit in the happy middle and play two sides against the middle and tell lies like this is a wonderful society. No,
exactly. Yeah. And it's they must know if it's one. I mean, they might be arrogant, but if it's one thing, the government is stupid. The government is not stupid. They must know that this is going on. They must know. But I would argue that just like any of the elitists, all they care about is themselves. You know, so long as I get the next 20, 30, 40 years where I'm looked after, so long as my retirement is looked after, like the arsehole Tony Blair, what he made like £100 million out of the British nation, and now he's like set for life, and probably that's what Theresa May wants to do. As soon as she's set, they don't care, and I think that's why they don't backtrack. That's why they don't apologise and they don't change policy, because so long as they're okay for their lifetime, they don't care about what goes on or what happens to the next generation. Because really, what we're talking about is the future of our nation, the future of our society, or of our country. That's what we mean.
What you said earlier, Shining. They break it down and they blame the communities, and they blame parenting, and they blame irresponsible youth, and they blame everybody. You know, they don't see themselves as government. You know, the ones who are supposed to provide opportunity funding to put back into communities. You know, when communities break down, they say, "Oh, look how you fucked up your own community," and then they just stand back and don't take responsibility for it. And they do that so they can pass the buck and just keep. It's like Cherie Blair, you know, the way she just sort of stood in the background behind Tony Blair, and she just basically committed fraud upon fraud upon fraud. You know, fraud with housing. You know, their allocated housing for government ministers, tax. Then ridiculous talk she was giving for charities and saying, "Oh, you know, we made $100,000. You know, yeah." Well, how much went to charity? And she got pulled up in Australia, didn't she? She did a talk for a charity there and raised 100 grand and only gave 5% to the charity and pocketed 95 grand, and they made her give it back. So yeah, they don't give a fuck about us.
No, they don't.
Their term in office is for them to make as much as they can, and I mean,
And they
Trump
don't see.
doesn't need it, does he?
No, they don't see how they're screwing themselves over in the long run too.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's my point. The government don't care about the long run. Or so long as they're all right for the next 20 or 30 years,
as long as they're
the
right
prime
in
minister,
in the immediate situation, but they don't realize that there's 60, 70, 80, 90 years down the road here.
Yeah.
And most people will get a chance to see it. I equate like Mgtow's. Do you know those little doozer things? They're the little cartoon doozers that all the men, they got the tractors and stuff. And I look at those doozers that are yellow and they're like Mgtows, and as long as you leave us the fuck alone, there's going to get a building built, a little Lego building, and it would be in the government's best interest to leave us alone, support us, get these men out of homeless into the little doozers, where they're happy, they have a great lifestyle, they can do what they want, and don't complain about what you see. Don't say the doozers are all fags, they're just these little cartoon things that are they're building buildings, they're bringing the bridges, they got their little wobbly little bodies, and that's what I equate Mgtows to. Just leave us alone, let us do our thing, and we do what we do, like Messenger says. But I love building things. That's what I do, and as long as you leave me alone and don't jeopardize that. But they came in and they jeopardized that, and now they can't get that no more.
I think there will be a breaking point. I think our society will have a breaking point. I mean, the fact is, right now, killing the odd homeless guy, killing the odd ethnic on the road, getting pulled up for a tail light or whatever, this scares a population into being subdued. But I think there's going to come a point where people are just going to snap. They're going to say, you know what, fuck it. You're taking far too much and you're giving back nothing. And I think that there will be a point. I know people will say, oh, well, this is the Brexit, this is the Trump vote. But that's not, come on, guys. That's not true, anywhere near enough. You're not even talking about change here.
Yeah. There was a great story last week, and I wanted to finish up the story sometime this week about men and leaving men alone in their society. And that rape case of that British girl that was in, what was that country over there? It's a Middle Eastern country, and she got arrested. No, yeah.
Dubai.
Dubai, yeah. They say, oh, well, this lady was raped in Dubai. And then I stepped back, and then it was my argument with TFN about men and stuff, and we need more men in the society. Do you know that there's 64% male in that society there? And do you look, step back and look at that city and what they've done to that city? That's a beautiful fucking place to live. Do you think they want to jeopardize that? They see that in their culture, they see the value of a lot of Mgtows. And Mgtows have a lot of great value. And when they start letting women accuse men of rape and everything, and let these foreign entities come over and accuse men of rape, guess what? The doozers stop building the buildings. And then you don't have those huge skyscrapers, and you don't have those beautiful things and all the luxury in your cities.
Yeah, you've got to give it to those guys. They're not letting. They're giving feminism a hard time over there.
Yeah, and you can just go look on the internet and pull up Dubai and look at how nice they got. The nicest city in the world, and it's 64% men.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where Mgtow comes in. That's the idea of Mgtow there. That's just leave us alone. Leave us to do our thing. We're not going around raping women. We're not doing all this stuff. If they let feminism come in there, you'll start to see their social systems, just like America and just like England. The first thing you're going to start seeing is the infrastructure slip. We haven't taken care of our infrastructure in almost 30 years here. And it's slipping. And we don't even come close to Dubai anymore.
No, I'll tell you a country doing unusually well. Kuwait. Now, Did you
Yeah.
know the welfare? If you're on welfare, if you're unemployed, you don't have a job, their welfare check they give you is $32,000 a year.
Wow.
That's if you're unemployed.
Yeah. I would venture to say, I didn't do the research on that, but I would venture to say that men population outweighs female population in Kuwait too.
Yeah, probably. Oh, did you see my post? I just posted I'm sure it's very similar in the US, but in the UK, we talked about it before that there's more males born than females.
Yes, there is more males born.
Round about the age of 24, that's when men and women start to catch up, and then after 60, you enter into numbers of for every one man there's three old women.
Yeah. Now the horrifying thought on that is what happens to the men.
Yeah, exactly. The point is, men are dying in wars, they're dying in work-related accidents, they're dying in suicide, they're vanishing, homelessness, they vanish. They're dying in much, much larger numbers, but much less appreciated.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a horrifying stat there. When I looked at that for the first time, I was like, "Oh my God!" It's just they're murdering men, and there's serious consequences to be paid for that.
I think it's like you say, that death of 1,000 cuts. There's so many working men I know who just drop down dead.
Yeah.
And it's either because their lifestyle was just, and it's like going back to the men I work with, they need a beer because their life is so much more stressful than mine. And they can't fathom out the fact that I'd rather have a decent meal and look after myself and go home and study. And the consequences of them leading that stressful life, providing, and we've been there, and it is stressful. And you're short-tempered, and you don't sleep properly, and you don't eat properly, and you drink too much, and you drop down dead in your mid-50s.
Yeah, you're not helping anybody.
My friend's dad dropped down dead at 53, and he was dead before he hit the floor. And I see him, he would drink, and he had a big red face on him, and he'd be out with his shovel every day trying to employ loads of men and make loads of money, and all the stress of work and contracts, and it's just. Men just perish, don't they? They just burn themselves out, or they just combust.
Yeah. Why would men want to do that to themselves? Why would men want to go back to that? Mgtow's the opportunity to step out of that. Yeah. And that's all that there is. And I think as more men see this, I looked at we were doing a focus group the other day on studies of the companies in my area, and then I went into the store on lunch break, and there was a guy talking. This guy, what the Democrats and this system for the last 8 years has given us. The same people that say they're a pro-worker and most of the workers in this area now, you know what they get for a lunch break?
10 minutes.
They get 15 minutes after 6 hours, and that's what they get per day because they so tailored back the work ethics, and they no longer get half-hour lunch breaks unpaid and 2 15-minute breaks in between that. Most guys are working themselves to death for $8 an hour, and they get a 15-minute lunch break. And this was desired by corporate America.
Do you know what happens to me? I mean, that doesn't increase productivity. We're
No.
not fucking robots. We're human.
We're
human. I see
human.
men at work, and they're really trying to push themselves, and they're pushing themselves because other men are making them do it. Other men are saying, "Oh, man up, who cares if you got a broken fucking rib or whatever?" And I look at these men, and because I pace myself, I mean, I work hard. I'll do extra hours if I have to, but I make sure I sleep properly and eat properly. And I look at these men, and I think, I'm consistent. I go to work every single day, and if I'm slightly ill, I still go to work.
Mm-hmm.
But these men have got injuries from rushing around under pressure, pressuring themselves, pressuring other men not working safely. They're breaking bones. They're getting ill from the amount of stress and the fact that they drink during the week. And I look at them, and I think, these men sort of do it to themselves, and to try to increase the productivity of men, it's not working.
Yeah,
it's not working.
it's not working. If you're not healthy, you're no good to nobody. But in this day and say they'll just fire them and get a replacement model. And it's our jobs as men to start complaining about this stuff. And, back in the 20s and 30s when you had the labor riots and stuff like that, we got to do that again because corporatism and these greedy people, and it's men in most points and a lot of women too. And they will just work you to death. They don't care. That's the society we live in. And it's up to men to, hey, take that boss in the back and give him a fucking hammer to the head.
Yeah.
And make that shit stop. It's up to each and every single one of us to make sure that we speak out against that kind of garbage in our cultures, and that's what makes a country great. It's no fluke that during the 50s and the 60s, when America was doing the greatest, when the unions were the strongest, and it protected labor and workers' rights. There's no fluke there.
But men have got to learn just to work for themselves.
Yeah.
That's what I do. That's why I don't, if someone puts an unrealistic amount of pressure on me, I just look at them and they know, I'll do a day's work, and you can't do any more than a day's work. I'm not going to run around and do stupid things just trying to get things done. I'll justify my wage and then I'm done.
Yeah, that's what I do too. I justify what I'm doing in my head, whether it's altruistic or work, or whether I just want to take a cigarette break, and that's it. That's what you can get from me. And
they're not having any more skin off my back to feather their own nest or feed their kids, pay for their Caribbean cruise or their kids' private tuition or any of that bullshit. That's their fucking problem. That if they want that, they can work weekends and extra hours and take on all that stress. I do just enough for me so I can have a comfortable life now. But years ago, I used to do the 7 days a week, and it aged me. And that is, like you say, that's when you start to perish, you start to diminish, because you can't sustain that. And in the course of 5 years, I may be aged fucking 10 years in looks, the last relationship I was in, because the amount of pressure on me to buy all this shit I didn't need, and all these fucking shoe racks and epoxy fucking purses that sit in the fucking cupboard that she doesn't even use, all that bullshit. Men are work. How many days does a man work in a year? A blue pill man work in a year to pay for shit that's not even for him, and that is time, effort, and energy that he's expending for other people. It doesn't even improve his life in any way. So once you get that out of the equation, then you can go to work and say, how much do I need just to sustain me in a comfortable life?
Right.
That's what I do.
That statement by Hillary Clinton, that women are the real victims of war. Now, I take a look at that and I go, hey, if women are the real victims of war, then why you have a war going on men, and why are you killing men?
Yeah.
If that is true, then all these men working themselves to death are the same victim of war, and they cannot take care of anybody if they're dead. Why is she? Why is her government, her vision of a government killing men all the time? She doesn't believe it. She's hypocritical, and that's what I see.
I don't think anybody fell for Hillary's rubbish. But what happened to that talk? Has anyone seen that clip since? It's vanished off the internet.
Oh, she stole that. She stole that from Libby Custard too. She's not even smart enough to have an original statement.
I know, but it goes to show you that they can censor. They can censor even right across the internet. If they can remove that clip from the entire internet, then they can do it with any clip. Yeah, because I'm pretty sure I saw that, but I'm beginning to doubt myself now because I've not been able to find it since.
Oh,
but yeah, I'm pretty sure I saw that. I'm pretty sure I saw that clip where she said that.
Oh yeah, they got huge companies. Matter of fact, I know about this because my cousin and her husband, they run a huge company. All they do all day is they're based out of LA, and they're one of the largest growing companies in America. Is they clean up things on the internet. That's what they do. They call themselves image consultants. They clean up the image, and that's all they do is clean up these for Hillary Clinton, she probably got about 5 or 6 of these companies working for her and trying to remove that from history.
Did you read what Jill Stein's done in the last couple of days?
No, is it interesting?
Not the recount. She's
Well,
raised $5.4 million to have the votes recounted in the swing states.
oh God, that makes me sick.
So does she know that the only outcome would be either nothing, which means things will stay as they are, or she gets Hillary back in?
Yeah, oh my
Does she know
God.
that?
$5 million, man. I'll tell you what, that's how stupid people are. I can't raise $30,000 for homeless men, but they'll give $5.4 million to Jill Stein to try to get Hillary.
I'm pretty sure that Hillary's camp was behind that. I think James Denton
Yeah,
says it smells like Soros.
smells like Soros, doesn't it? Yeah, that's yeah. My God, people are so stupid.
Yeah, I mean, the only outcome could be either it's still going to be Trump or they're going to get Hillary back in. And surely I thought Jill Stein was against Hillary. I thought she was more against Hillary than she was against Trump. Where's heartburn? He's normally including, or even male feelings. I think we hurt his feelings last time. So
where is heartburn and male feelings? Yeah, they're just sitting back and just gloating in the happy feeling of Donald Trump. And it's just like enjoy it, heartburn, and enjoy it. Most of us men are enjoying.
They're still celebrating a week.
They're drunk and like, yeah, I'm gonna move out of this chair someday and make a Mgtow video.
Yeah. He's made a little hole in his sofa where he does a shit, and he's calling the pizza to be delivered on a daily. What happened to that guy on a daily? Baby, please.
Daily?
You know what I'm talking about.
Oh God, who is that?
You're welcome on a daily, baby, please. Louis Marco.
Louis Marco. Oh.
Yeah. And he used to have that funny greeting. How did he used to greet people?
Oh man, I never watched Louis Marco all that much.
And he was hilarious, man.
Yeah, he was. He was a good one. He was good for Mgtow there for a while, but he exited Mgtow.
Yeah.
Yeah, some men are just one steroid away.
Is that in the chat? That's got to be in the chat. Did you make that up?
I just made it up on the dime.
You're so witty, brother.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, we've taken it a long way here today, huh?
Yeah. Well, let's drop it. I think it's the game for you now. Big game.
Yeah. It's been on for about an hour. I can turn it on and see what the losing score is.
Yeah, well, anyway, I think that's it. I don't think there's anything in sports now. I think they're talking about what's that guy? Conor is going to fight the boxing champ. Who's the boxing champ?
Oh, that one guy that called them out and they were arguing about the rules that would be employed.
Yeah, are they going to have a boxing match? Are they going to have mixed martial arts?
Yeah, Conor said he don't care, but as long as it's like
he's going to get 14 million easy for that one, isn't he?
Yeah,
Mayweather, that's it. Mayweather and Conor are talking about a fight.
Yeah, but he wanted to go with the boxing rules and takedown rules, and he's just okay. I could take you down, but we'll box and
they should just do kickboxing. No throws, no grappling. I think Conor would be fine with that. He's not a grappler anyway.
Yeah,
and in kickboxing, if you're a good boxer, you can outfight someone who's a good kicker. So.
Yeah, I could see that. That would be funny. The boxer gets in there and all of a sudden he lays a few pelts on his leg, and he's like, "Oh shit, I don't know what this was about."
I think that's it. I don't think they're going to let Conor fight Khabib.
Yeah. I don't think they should kind of intermingle those things because what'll happen is you'll get another offshoot of some weird fighting thing, and they'll have to make it into a hexagon or some kind of other thing.
No, Khabib. He's the current. He's the next in line for the title shot for the belt that Conor has. But I think everyone genuinely believes that Conor can't beat Khabib. Yeah. He's just too tough.
He's just too tough. Well, we'll see. They said that before.
He just. I I think if he beats Khabib, I think that would be astonishing. Because Khabib, he's a genuine tough guy. You know, wrestle bears. His dad trained him by putting him against bears. Apparently.
Oh my God! Did his dad put him inside of a burlap bag and beat him?
I don't think so. He's well trained anyway. He's a Russian. He's a Russian juggernaut.
A Russian juggernaut. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
On one note, the Ohio State Buckeyes is going to be my state again has taken another championship this year, and the Ohio State Buckeyes beat Michigan, and they're going to be playing Alabama for the national championship in football.
There you go, guys. All the fans of football. Well, you want to do the shout outs, or shall we just close down and give a big FU to everyone?
I think Messenger for once should do the shout outs.
Go on, Messenger.
No, that's your department.
He's too shy.
Is that right, the fireman?
I'm having a cup of tea now.
We usually do these together.
Okay, well, I'll do a couple, and then
Okay.
you can do the rest. Of course, I have to give a big shout out to the American mental Goliath that is Vevetek Ace.
Yes.
Unfortunately, we haven't been able to pit him against the Russian intellectual behemoth that is James Denton.
Yeah, we got our usual Eric Weingard in. Always good to see Eric and Renee, and secret agent Mgtow We. Now that's interesting.
Who could that be?
Who could that be? And Joey Aragon is hiding in here somewhere.
Yeah, I think Johnny Ping Pong. I think that's Joey.
Do you think Johnny Ping Pong's Joey? And Staying Free Mgtow is in, Swine Dog. Ben Volacoster, like always, one of my favorite Mgtow-ers. And Tim A. And Zeta's with us today.
Yeah, greetings to Zeta there.
Zeta.
Mm.
Yeah,
And Tim A.
T3, I did see a teacher there.
Yeah, teachers in. Mark Burley.
Matt Burley from the UK. I think he's not too far from me.
Yeah. Yeah, we got to see you and Mark Burley and Messenger get together on a podcast in the same room someday.
I don't think anyone would understand us.
I'd like to.
Yeah, you'll be okay. I think you're used to the British accent now.
Yeah. Oh, Thor Mgtow. Who is Thor Mgtow?
I think I think thou Mgtow is. I think that's Nico.
You think that's Nico? Nico loves us. He knows he loves us, and he wants to jump in, and he's welcome to come on. We love Nico.
Yeah, we're not against you, Nico. Eric doesn't like you, but everyone else doesn't like you.
Yeah, Tim A. And who else was in today earlier? Oh, I seen someone.
Badass Dan.
Yeah, Badass Dan. Always one of my favorite.
Swine Dog back after all these years.
Swine Dog, yeah, and Men's Knowledge 101 was in earlier, and
yeah, that's right.
Love that guy, and
Ben Volcast.
Ben always
Staying Free Mgtow made an appearance. Yeah, check out his podcast, guys. Hopefully, we'll be having a daily podcast that Teacher will do Thursday. Staying Free Mgtow will do Saturday. We'll do Sunday. We'll have to find other guys to do the rest of the days.
Oh, we forgot 2 guys or 3 guys. Johnny Midnight, Hody Lukai, and Username.
Yeah, Username, and of course Cyborg.
Cyborg, yeah. Is that Username?
No. Cyborg is Kramer. Don Kramer.
Don Kramer. Okay. And I'd like to thank the 2 monitors, Resident Islam. We did give a shout out to Resident Islam.
Oh, yeah. And also Chris Rav as well. Chris Rav's
in. And in James Denton for not abusing his ultimate authority of the hammer.
He just did.
Did he?
Is he doing it now? Is he
doing it? He's kicking everybody out of the room.
swinging his penis in the chat.
Yeah, he gave Veritech a 5-minute timeout there.
That's just funny when they give him 5-minute times out.
Yeah.
Okay, well, you're going to have to strip Denton off the hammer for the next time. Otherwise, you'll have no one left.
Yeah, I told you the story on that, didn't I? I have to strip the moderators out every night because we went like 6 podcasts and everything. And I kept giving like different guys the hammer. And then I looked in there one day, and then there was like 8 people in the room, and they all had the hammer. They had kicked everybody out.
Yeah, don't worry, Veritech Case. There's always been this Cold War between Russia and America. Now, what's left of it has gone into the chat room, but he's only jealous because you're his main competition.
His main competition for the movie, movie and knowledge things. We're going to do that next week.
Yeah. Oh well, yeah. Hopefully, if you don't mind more copyright strikes.
Yeah, I've been trying. Yeah, I can get rid.
It was all right last time. You're such a wuss with these copyright strikes. Just take them, Joe. Take it like a man.
Take it like a man. Yeah, yeah. It's not like what do I make, like a nickel? They're gonna threaten me with a nickel. Jesus,
Well, it was nice talking to you guys, and I'll say my piece to the chat room. And guys, don't be a stranger. See you guys sooner rather than later. I hope. Peace.
Okay, peace out, guys. And I'm gonna end this podcast with a thought, if I can resurface on the thought of the original. There's a bunch of fake, there's a lot of fake people that come around here and they throw daggers at us, but there's no reason why they throw daggers at us. It's just to hurt us, and it's just to make us feel like less. Mgtow's the way. Mgtow's the only way. All roads lead to Mgtow, as Angry Mgtow says. There's bigger problems in our underlying bigger underlying causes of homelessness and men. And if we can get all men just working, we'll have a great civilization and working in what they want to do and giving how much they want to give, not killing themselves or not working themselves to get death, because that's Gynocentrism, and Gynocentrism is the root of all evil. And with that, thanks for being Mgtow, and have a great day.